this half an hour with one of the hottest scenes in music. Thousands of people coming out for the Coachella Music Festival.
As far as the lineup goes, it will include artists like Beyonce, The Weeknd, and Post Malone.
Coachella has a tradition of having classic performers. Madonna's been there. Paul McCartney played Coachella.
Some of the biggest names in music, of course, Radiohead, the Black Keys, many, many, many others.
I was very nervous about it, which I've never felt ever from a show. And I was trying to think about why I was, and I was like, because it's a big deal, Billy, that's why. Everybody knows what Coachella is. Even if you don't care about music, you know.
The Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival wrapped up yesterday. It's a huge concert, goes over 2 weekends.
A rite of passage for any millennial is attending Coachella.
This is not a rock concert. This is not Coachella.
I came for the chaos, Coachella!
We'd like to make an announcement that we just booked another show. We will be doing Sunday service at Coachella.
The biggest artists in the world do Coachella. So, the pressure's there to bring it.
You cannot escape it, and it became Baychella. Beyonce took it over this weekend.
You want people talking about your performance. You want to open up the paper the next day, see them talking about what you did, not what 3 acts before you did.
This morning, the most talked about concert on the planet was a weekend performance from someone who's been dead for 15 years.
Make some noise for Tupac!
You're gonna be judged, man, when you hit Coachella's stage. And it's gonna be talked about for the rest of the year. So you better get your shit right.
Coming from my world, they've always been extremely welcoming. I think the programming's always been extremely progressive. They put everything on from rock or hip hop to electronic music.
Coachella has been able to facilitate a space for all of these styles of music to exist.
I played 1999, which I think was the first Coachella. I remember Paul Tillett, who's one of the guys who started Coachella, told me he had this idea of starting a festival in the middle of the desert. And it seemed like a remarkable idea, but I didn't expect it to actually work.
Tell everybody where we are.
We are at the Empire Polo Club in Indio, California.
Okay, now this polo club is where it all happens, right here. That's where the main stage would be, right there. This whole area was just teeming with people.
Yes.
It's hard to believe it.
Some people see Coachella now and they think, oh, that's a no-brainer. Coachella's beautiful, right? It's a beautiful venue. It's easy. It was difficult. It took the concert promoter, Golden Voice, several years to make it happen. And if it wasn't for Golden Voice's roots, I don't think that Coachella would be what it is today.
in the hot sun. I fought the law and I won. I fought the law and I won.
Everything that Coachella is rooted in the early days of Golden Voice and the punk rock shows that Gary Tovar did.
Hey, Gary! This is Gary Tovar, a great promoter of punk scene. Do you have anything to say?
Oh, well, I hope this venue survives tonight.
When I started doing concerts, the punk rock that I did, it was too wild for a lot of people. They couldn't handle it.
Punk's roots began in England in the 1970s, appealing to a group of lower-income teens who were out of work and out of hope.
Now a new wave of punk is coming to the affluent middle class, and that trend is beginning here in Hollywood.
It was a time when it was dangerous to book events like that. They would break up the place, there'd be fights.
I didn't like violence, but there was a lot of violence in the 80s. And a lot of slam dancing and a lot of stage diving.
You had to have a certain commitment to the music and the scene to be involved. And Gary Tovar, you know, he had resources and interests and a passion for it and became a folk hero of the punk scene.
I think the music speaks for itself, and I don't take anything to the point of where I'm going to be judgmental, and I don't think anybody else should either.
My brother Perry and I were promoting ska shows in Pomona at small halls, pizza places, things like that. And we'd heard that Golden Voice was going to start doing shows in Pomona. So we drove down to Long Beach to tell them, you know, stay out of here, you know, give them a piece of our mind.
So they came over thinking, oh, this guy's a big promoter. He's coming to take over Pomona, or somewhat, right?
But we met Gary, and he was just the coolest. We hit it off instantly. We talked all night, and he gave me a box of flyers that night to pass out. And that was the first day I worked at Golden Voice.
You know, the punk scene really changed by 87 or 88. It kind of had waned off. Then there was acts like Jane's Addiction, Fishbone, Chili Peppers really helped Golden Voice still remain relevant.
Back in those days, Los Angeles was the epicenter for young, up-and-coming music. People would go out to see groups that weren't even signed. Jane's Addiction, when we were coming up, we started in the underbelly of Los Angeles. And I would go to Golden Voice and I'd say, look, fellas, I want to work with you guys as promoters. They were, first and foremost, fans themselves.
Our offices were upstairs at the Hollywood Palladium. It was literally just 5 people booking shows, all my favorite bands, getting to watch the sound check for any bands playing at the Palladium. It was like the dream job.
Golden Voice was in a prime position to seize that alternative rock scene where the big promoter in town was clueless of it. You know, they were still booking Janet Jackson's or something. And that really helped fuel the growth of Golden Voice from a small punk promoter into a real player.
In the early 90s, we were doing all these bands, you know, Nirvana and Chili Peppers, and it looked like we were doing great, but we were really struggling financially. These shows weren't making money, but Gary had a business on the side, selling weed.
I involved myself with a group of people. We were all marijuana smokers and surfers at the beach. We didn't want to just go get marijuana from the border, which was terrible. We wanted to bring the highest quality, and it came from the other side of the world, so that's what I did. It was the just say no period.
Last year alone, over 10,000 drug criminals were convicted, and nearly $250 million of their assets were seized by the DEA.
The federal government investigated me for 4 years. And then things started happening, and I knew I was going to get an indictment.
In March of '91, he got arrested, and from then on, he was out of the business. We bought the company from Gary and didn't use the Golden Voice name for a while, but maybe the cops would call us, but they never did.
After I went away, all I hoped was they could keep it going. And they did.
Next week, Congress is going to hold hearings on ticket pricing. The hearings come at a time when the nation's top rock band is accusing the biggest ticket distributor in the business of unfair practices and price gouging.
Ticketmaster refused to reduce its fees low enough to suit Pearl Jam. The band canceled its tour.
Our main concern is, are we entitled to use a different company other than Ticketmaster? And right now, so far, we haven't been able to, find an alternative that's viable.
Ticketmaster had a lock on all the largest venues in Southern California to be able to perform at. And I think Pearl Jam approached Paul and said something like, you guys can land the gig if you can put us in a place that isn't a Ticketmaster venue.
So Pearl Jam was going to skip Los Angeles, and we talked them into maybe Palm Springs. And so we drove up to Palm Springs, couldn't find any place, but someone told us there's a polo field out in Indio. It was even further.
We were just like, first off, where Indio, California, and what are you talking about? And we've got to drive east and not west to a show?
We drove out to Indio. It really felt far, farther than it does now.
So how was the drive?
We put it on sale and sold, I think, 25,000 tickets. It was super low budget, just a stage in the middle of the field, but it was still special.
Of course, the lower of that whole show was that there was this phenomenon of shoes coming on stage. 100 pairs of shoes at least. And one of them hit Eddie Vedder in the head. So the band went behind the thing and played behind their equipment and came back out.
Me and Jeff are gonna go to the front gate, and when you guys exit, we're gonna beat the shit out of every barefoot person here.
In the 90s, the bands we were close to, Pearl Jam, Nirvana, and Chili Peppers, they started to explode, but they grew too fast. We couldn't afford really to do the arenas where they could sell out. So I started paying attention to the rave scene as it was starting to bubble up.
Rave is a British import that caught on here within the last 2 years. A typical rave party usually takes place in an abandoned warehouse.
This very rapidly changing subculture even has its own voice in the form of a monthly magazine publication known as Herb. Raymond Roker, editor of Herb magazine, explains his views on the strengths and progressions of rave culture.
Well, I started just going to clubs like, everybody else did. The clubs had just started to break off the mainstream, path. Early 90s was a really interesting time. You had underground music, you had underground club culture, and also this electronic sound.
I'd been hanging out a lot with Raymond Roker, and I just loved his magazine so much. Every issue was just jam-packed full of things I'd never heard of. It was just mind-blowing. Like punk rock, the rave scene had its own world. And it was just so different than everything that we were doing.
I don't know how many events he got involved with, but he invested in some. He invested in Organic, which was like, this incredible outdoor electronic music concert.
Here we are in the lovely Snow Valley Ski Resort, and we're not going to ski. We're here for the biggest rave event that's ever taken place in the Northern Hemisphere.
This is truly the first, all-night festival or rave that is similar to what happens in the UK, and they haven't really had that here in Los Angeles.
Organic was different than any of the other raves. This was almost like bands. Chemical Brothers, Orb, Orbital. I remember hearing Rez from Underworld about 6 a.m. in the morning. It was just a feeling I never had. All these things are seeds for the future. It's like everything along the way, you pick up these little tips, from the early Golden Voice days, and then you see electronic raves going on, then you're at Organic and thought, I want to do something that has a combination of the rock bands that we're close to and also all these new artists that are popping up. So set out to put on an event that married all of this together.
Then Paul, at one point in the summertime, went to all the UK festivals and European festivals and came back. And I remember sitting in his office one time and he was like, hey, I'm thinking about starting a music festival out of that venue we did Pearl Jam at. And I'm thinking about calling it Coachella. And I remember thinking, Coachella? That's an awful name.
I remember Paul coming up to me and he said, I got this idea. We want to do a big festival in the desert, and we want to have all these bands play. We talked about all kinds of stuff, even the name. He said, well, I'm going to call it Coachella. And I remember arguing against the name. I was like, oh, don't call it Coachella. That's a terrible idea.
Yeah, most people said, just don't call it Coachella. Especially Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival. It's a little clunky.
As far as I knew, the idea of like a European-style festival in the United States was sort of unprecedented. So when Paul first started Coachella, I thought it was a little baffling.
In the US, the concept or the thinking is that it just doesn't work. The American public is not compatible with gathering in a large group without beating the shit out of each other.
Woodstock 99, a weekend of rock and roll in upstate New York, ended with fire and vandalism late last night.
This is a very dangerous situation. Everyone is trying to get out of here, and I think we're going to go.
As the three-day concert ended Sunday night, bonfires blazed out of control and looters battled police.
We announced Coachella the Monday after Woodstock because it was all pre-prepped, and it was just a total disaster. People laughed like, why would you do this right now? Woodstock is on the news, on CNN, how terrible everything was, all the riots. Trying to sell tickets when everyone's saying how bad festivals are, it was pretty much impossible. The city wanted to cancel it, and they just thought, how can you bring a version of Woodstock 99 to our desert? And we weren't even thinking it was related. We had never thought about Woodstock at the time. We were just caught up in our Southern California scene. And in our mind, we wanted to be in the tradition of the California festivals. We wanted to have the feeling of Monterey Pop, Cal Jam, Us Festival, the whole California laid-back vibe.
The reputation for festivals at that point was not very good. It was a dirty experience, it was a muddy experience. You had to wear wellies up to your knees. I think Paul was trying to create a Southern California version.
Some European festivals have this amazing energy, but a lot of times they're really cold, they're really muddy, and pouring down with rain. Whereas you go to Coachella and it's a polo field.
So Golden Voice invited some friends to come see the space. And the instant I saw it, I just said, this cracks the code. This is something special. This is going to be something special.
closest you will get to love. Oh, twisted child, oh, hug me, please hug me, 1 November.
Coachella was just starting that year, and the thing that I loved about it is it was culturally and sonically and musically a hub where all these people came together. There really weren't festivals at the time that were bringing in rock, electronic, hip-hop, and mixing them all together. You know, there's this cross-pollination that happens. You can't help but walk by a tent and hear something, it draws you in and you just get exposed to new music.
So sleep and dream of love.
I think the first Coachella had roughly 40,000 people that came over the 2 days. The event looked terrific. Everybody was excited by it.
We liked the vastness of the field and the different stages, and the fact that you could walk around the field barefoot at the time was something you just didn't experience very often at a concert. The heat was a little unbearable that year, but the vibe of everyone who was there, I think everyone was pretty happy with the whole situation. We all saw the potential.
Thank you.
From the outside, it looked like an amazing success. But the math didn't work. It lost a lot of money. And Golden Voice was an independent company at the time, so there wasn't anybody to like bail it out.
Well, it was dicey because we had no money to begin with. And then we lost $850,000 or $1 million, we don't know, you know, just we didn't have accounting. But it was nasty. So bad that I got kicked out of the bank, personally. Like, not even just the company. I was on something called check guard. I wasn't allowed to cash a check anymore.
But like, Golden Voice could have died a few times. But definitely could have died when Gary went to prison.
I could have filed for bankruptcy when I left. I didn't do that. We paid our bills instead. You know, my lawyer was thinking, what's wrong with you? You know, you keep your money and let everybody hanging. But no, I didn't want to do that. And I think it was a wise choice because when they needed help after the first Coachella, the people stepped forward and said that we were always good to them.
The only reason we even were able to keep going is we had a good reputation. Rage Against the Machine and Beck, you know, they gave us money off. Don Muller and Mark Geiger, the producers of Lollapalooza, really helped us financially. Every one of them was like, oh, pay us later, you're good for it. And it's weird at the time, I thought like, you know, we're not really a good loan. I'm not so sure you should do this. At the same time, AEG built Staples Center, and they were looking to get into the concert business. We cut a deal with them. They came to us and said, why don't you find shows for us at the Staples Center and become a concert promoter for us? We're like, sure, no problem. And they said, and you should do Coachella again. We're like, really? It lost a lot of money, are you sure? Yes, we lost the first time. Now we're coming back, we've got a partner, and we start looking for bands kind of at the last minute because we cut our deal pretty late. Struggling for headliners, there's no one out there. I mean, having no headliner means you have no show. Like, what about Jane's Addiction?
After Lollapalooza, I was done. I just ripped all my clothes off, signifying I was going to be like a newborn baby when I got home.
Rick Van Santen, who was Paul's partner, came to Paul and said, I think I can reach out to everybody and we might be able to get them back together to perform.
So Rick was I guess, put in charge to kind of try to get me to do it. And I would do almost anything Rick wanted me to.
And so they were able to do another show. But I don't think 2001, the next year, the second year of Coachella, necessarily made a ton of money.
We did that show, that was great, but it was just one day. We couldn't find anyone else. So it was just a one-day show. And it was fun, but we made dumb mistakes. We forgot trash cans. Just really rookie stuff, you know? In 2002, I feel that's the year we didn't make a mistake. Didn't really make any money financially, but didn't lose that much. All the artists were on time. No one's equipment melted down. It was just really, really a good thing.
I started in 2002. I remember watching Bjork, just so beautifully pregnant, up there in the wind, and she just like looked so glamorous and exquisite. A secret code card.
That's when music changed a little bit. There was a little bit more of an indie rock scene. You know, the New York scene started coming through.
Coachella was just like really heating up. All these like indie New York darling bands came around, and it was so exciting for everybody.
Like, we loved that world. And the UK bands, all the NME bands, LCD and Strokes and White Stripes and these things for the next few years was just ruling everything. It was awesome.
Gonna nuts in the mailbox, he'll tell you that I'm coming home. And I think I'm gonna stick around for a while, so you're not alone. For a while, so you're not alone.
Golden Voice was still a really small company, so it was just like hands-on everything. Everybody does everything.
2004, that was the first year we turned a profit. It was Radiohead, Pixies, Kraftwerk. It was just this combo that was just too good, and everyone wanted to buy a ticket.
We didn't do one in 2000 to kind of recover. And then 01, 02, 03 was just getting bigger, bigger, bigger. And then 04 just seemed like, we can't get any bigger than this. This is crazy.
It was not until 2004 with Radiohead, finally, it was like fully attended and fully realized as this is what it looks like with a lot of people here.
So now we felt like there's going to be a future for the show. It was always on the chopping block up until then. It was always, every time we did one, we thought it was going to be the last. Jane 6 was the beginning. Pixies was like, okay, this is a thing that people like, getting a band that hasn't played in a long time back together.
Pixies, I think, were as surprised as anybody that there was this level of interest. So to be brought out of that, to be put on the stage and then have people receive it so warmly and to do such a good show. It was now the new kind of benchmark.
It was such a big moment for the band and for us. just to be part of them getting back together and pulling off this big moment.
Your bones got a little machine.
Paul seeks them out. I mean, like, he runs around in his head, who can I bring back together? And I don't know if it started by accidentally asking us if we would do it because he was our friend. But whatever, for whatever reason, man, he's got a good thing going.
That house is so long ago to me now. I remember the first time round, we were just beginning to get really big, and we quit. Boom. And it's like, we quit. And it's, you know, it's a very English thing to do.
I remember very clearly the phone call from Paul Tollett to do Coachella. I played it cool and said, "Well, that's very interesting, Paul. I'll have a word with the others and I'll get back to you." Put the phone down and was like, yes. The opening featured Peter hanging upside down, which was Peter's brilliant idea.
I knew that I had to physically practice because there's a time limit of something like 50 minutes, I think, before you pass out. And it's a long song.
The original idea was to release bats, hundreds of bats, into the audience at dusk. But they looked into it, and you cannot have a bird release after 5 p.m. for some reason. And bats apparently are considered to be birds under these circumstances. There was also the twin peril of rabies and bat shit.
What are white translucent black keeps back on the rack? Bela Lugosi's dead. The bats have left the bell tower. The victims have been bled red velvet lines. The black box. Bela Lugosi's dead.
I had a lot of friends working on the show. Golden Voice at that time, they were building Coachella, would come to the Roxy and drop off, "Here's a pack of 20 tickets, please come out to this place called Indio." And we're like, yeah, we might go to that. And then I remember like year 6 or 7, we're like, that's weird, Golden Voice didn't come by and drop any tickets off. And there was that switch in the festival where you literally saw it turn into something that you had to do, you had to be at.
Madonna, I was friends with her manager. He's like, "What about Madonna for Coachella?" I'm like, wow, that's crazy. I mean, my headliners are booked. Well, what about the dance tent? I'm like, that's incredible. It's so different for Coachella. So when we put the poster out, I made sure it said "in the tent" to really set the pace what that show is going to be.
There are so many people who love Madonna but might not buy a ticket to go to a Madonna concert. But since she's like right over there, everybody went.
It was a sign that the show was growing up, that there were stars here. I would argue that she was the first star to play the show.
If I'm in town, I usually go as a fan because it's, you know, the state of music. It's pretty much everything that's happening in music at the moment.
I'm really excited to be here.
I'm so excited to be here. I'm not a very organised person, but this is one thing that everybody has said to me. Wait until you get to Coachella. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, sometimes I go out by myself and I look across the water and I think about all the things that I did do. In my head, I painted a picture.
I just remember that being like a super energetic time where the appetite for people, they just wanted everything, new music, new music, new music. And like the most popular things on the poster were the things they didn't know.
Come on over, stop making for why don't you come on over,
Everybody was just so into music discovery.
Coachella, when you look at it, there's no one cohesive genre. It's just more cohesive in the idea that good is good. You know, that you don't define it by category.
For the first years of Coachella, I would always go as a fan and see the great bands. And I asked Paul if I could, interview people. And I think I could get really good interviews. And they said, yeah, let's do that. And we did.
Hey, everybody. It's Rosanna Arquette. I'm here backstage with Calvin Harris. Here with Norman Cook, live from Coachella. And we are with Justice, Roger Waters, Sir Paul McCartney, The Specials.
It was my most favorite job I've ever had in my life.
The guys from Portishead, Jeff and Adrian.
Nobody said no. And it would be like a joke, like, well, you're never gonna get Lauryn Hill. It's just not gonna happen.
Thank you so much. Who inspires you?
I'm inspired by beauty. I'm inspired by love. I'm inspired by things that I see come together.
The one thing you guys did that was more special than anything to me, you guys brought Rage Against the Machine back. And when that happened, that's when, I always said to myself, Wu-Tang will play Coachella one day.
Good evening, we are Rage Against the Machine from Los Angeles, California.
I ain't seen Zach in years, but when I saw him, he didn't seem very keen on the industry or what it stood for. So for a guy like that to come out, okay, it's so serious. It's a more, he ain't come out for no money. You can't get him out of his house for money. Right. You know what I mean?
Rage Against the Machine is self-explanatory, man. Songs, especially when they speak to some truth and freedom, man, you really can't fuck with that.
They're one of the great groups to ever come out of Los Angeles. So everybody waits until the day that they're ready to play again. And the next time they do, we're gonna be back on our hands and knees begging them because they turn the crowd on that much. There's not that many groups in the world, man, that can do that, and less and less and less.
But who controls the past now? Controls the future. Who controls the present now? Controls the past. Who controls the past now? Controls the future. Who controls the present now?
during the mid-2000s, Coachella really established itself as like the ultimate indie festival. In popular understanding, Coachella became kind of this sacred indie temple. And then through the years, the DJ presence at Coachella became more and more of a thing. And then the Sahara tent became almost like a party into itself. I think it's important to remind people that in 1999, festivals didn't have the huge LED panels that we know now and the huge stage production.
You know, I felt like for most of the 90s, electronic music existed in a place where if you weren't an electronic music fan, you generally didn't pay that much attention to it. One of the things that I thought was kind of amazing but odd about the first Coachella was that it was very electronic music oriented at a time, you know, when electronic music really was very, very underground.
If I were governor of my state or mayor of my town, I would be passing new ordinances relating to stiff criminal penalties for anyone who held a rave. The promoter, the guy who owned the building. I would put the son of a gun in jail.
So 2001, 2002 was a really tough time for dance music. The DEA created the Crack House Law and went after not only venues, but event producers. The venues didn't want to rent their facility to you, and some of the producers weren't even willing to produce anymore. The culture was almost destroyed completely. And you could have not had dance music at a festival at one point.
So the whole rave scene at that point was on trial. And law enforcement wanted us to drop that type of music.
In the early 2000s, the scene was struggling, but Coachella, they kept doing it. And it was so great for dance music. I am so happy Coachella didn't jump on the bandwagon, because when the events are healthy, that pushes the music forward.
We had Sahara Tent and we had Dulab. When Dulab started out, it was just an art piece. We really weren't even paying attention to them. They were DJing in there. They've been an institution for us ever since. So we felt like we were doing good with electronic music.
Then Coachella, 2006, Daft Punk plays. And people's minds get blown.
It like changed people's lives, including mine, forever.
We didn't know what to expect. And the first thing that you hear is the Close Encounters melody. Do, 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 do. And everyone's like, oh! And then you hear it again. Do, 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 do. It's like, oh! And then the curtain slowly parts to reveal this fucking pyramid with these robots on top.
And you're like, they are aliens. They are not from planet Earth.
Television rules the nation. Television rules the nation. Around the world.
was just such a mind-blowing performance. It was kind of the birth of EDM right there. From that point on, dance music needed to have a giant spectacle on stage. And so you could love it or you could hate it. I mean, but the fact is that nothing was the same after that performance.
And from that moment, it was like, I mean, it's all what DJs would be playing all across the country. Wherever I was playing, it was like Daft Punk, Daft Punk, Daft Punk. And we'd always be doing like that pyramid they did at Coachella.
Tell me all about it. As headliners here today, it was just absolutely amazing how they got embraced by what they are as a group, as artists. But at the end of the day, they brought the funk and the sound and the house music to the table, and the new electronic sound. They're the ones that were there first before anyone else. So for me to hear them today was amazing.
To continue to make electronic music, we need something to show, so I started to asking some questions. And I saw the show of Daft Punk here in Coachella and say, okay, they have answered all the questions I started to ask. Our personality is not enough. So I think, I think a lot of people, I know that a lot of people now are working on big visual things. I think it's good. We're gonna have some good shows now.
Technologically speaking, it's always new ideas and new concepts coming from the Sahara tent.
The new technology shows up, and the artists with the creativity will utilize that technology to push the limits.
Just on an audio-visual level, regardless of who's performing in there, it's incredible.
I'm not scared of technology. For me, this is always something that I use like a tool to bring across what I have in my head.
It's the same thing as having a muscle car, getting a V8 engine, 450 horsepower, just big power. We get those big subs in there and you light those things up. It will blur your vision. You can stand in front and everything turns fuzzy.
One day, someone's gonna bring in too many subs and someone's just gonna their stomach is gonna explode.
Social media made a big difference. Like as soon as Facebook and Instagram blew up, EDM blew up. Because for years it was held down by people who control the radio and television, who control the media.
It was big. It was, it felt like you could tell that the dams were starting to break, that this festival culture, this electronic music youth festival culture was, like pushing other genres out of the way, like we are here. Tiesto on main stage changed the game. And Paul Tollett, hats off for that booking, because I think that was a controversial choice.
People were pretty shocked that I played Coachella at main stage, and they were like, they didn't know what to expect.
Because a lot of bands and traditional musicians are like, you're not us, man. Like, what? Because I don't sit behind the drum and play the drum? Like it or not, Tiesto's here and he's gonna play on the main stage.
And that proved a point that large-scale DJ culture was becoming a real thing.
No one had done that at that time at a multi-genre music festival. Taking a dance act and having him play to that large of an audience was unbelievable and something that pushed things forward for the industry that I love so much and the culture that I love so much.
Well, first we felt that the main stage was a little big for us, but we were like, you know what, let's try it and let's do our best and pushed for it.
But it definitely changed the sound. Going from nightclubs to these big stages, it made everything bigger, louder, more grand. And now we've graduated to where there's a pop element to it.
I think that happens with any genre, from hip hop to, to indie rock to whatever. There's always just layers. There's an underground, more independent sound that's more cultured and I guess takes a little more digging to get to. And then there's the stuff that's on the radio that's more accessible.
People need not be afraid of big dance acts that have success because you can always go find your house music or your techno.
Yuma is a really interesting innovation because it's just about the music. It's more of the intimate club experience, but on a larger scale and at a festival.
Nowadays, Sarah Tent became something else, and house and techno, I think, needed a space like that, where it's more about getting into the groove with the music.
The Yuma stage is very much, sort of like the quintessential heads, they know what they want. That's my favorite type of vibe. There's no screens, it's just music.
No matter what kind of subgenres, what kind of vibe you're closer to, more like big stage one or this little, it's all around one thing in a way. It's around connecting to people.
As we track the growth of electronic music, there doesn't seem any end in sight. People just seem to have the drive to have the time of your life.
1, 2, everybody jump up,
Remember the second Major Lazer show, and it was the most epic. Sunset is sort of the best time to play at Coachella. Nobody can tell you differently. Whether they say it's headlining, whatever, it's always Sunset.
EDM became a thing, and through that, I think more and more people in North America finally got accustomed to the sonics of electronic music, because it used to be foreign, it used to be exotic and crazy.
I knew it was going to be a big moment in my career. First time on the main stage at Coachella. This is the festival that the whole world looks at. I walked off stage that first week, and the guys who had flown the drone, they walk up and they're like, dude, oh my gosh, and they're freaking out. And they whip out an iPad, and it has the drone footage on it. And I'm just like, ah! We're all screaming, looking at this thing, rewinding it, what? How far back does the crowd go? And there's a big red blast on the screen, and you can see it just lights the whole crowd up red. Whether the radio wants to admit it or whatever, the TV, I don't know what's going on, but there's a movement, and it's solidified. And guess what? It's been 20 years in the making.
At the end of the day, and I've said this all throughout the commotion of EDM, I've always said this, hip-hop is like the generational music of North America.
Early Coachella definitely had hip-hop. You had hip-hop DJs, you had like the Invisible Scratch Pickles, which A-Trak was part of at the time. And that was like the height of turntablism in terms of like what echelon those guys were playing at. But I think it was what you would have expected at the time. It was the festival-friendly versions of what was going on in hip-hop.
Well, I like to know if you got the notion, cause we're number one. I'm not trying to say my style is better than yours, I'm just on some other shit. I'm all about the beats and the lyrics, so when you hear it, you can feel it, the vibe is in the time.
And there was all this alternative or underground or backpack hip-hop or, you know, really like college hip-hop. And if you really were to get into like culture and groups, the fans of that hip-hop were, I don't know if it was majority white, but it was largely white. And way more overrepresented than Southern hip-hop or like, you know, Wu-Tang inspired like East Coast hip-hop and gangster rap and everything. That hip-hop had a large black fan base.
Where you from? Motherfucker coming straight out of Compton. Crazy motherfucker named Ice Cube. From the gang called Niggas with Attitude. When I'm called up.
It wasn't that Golden Voice didn't have history doing hip-hop. You know, Golden Voice had done early NWA concerts.
It was a situation where, you know, rap music was getting a black eye, you know, everywhere you looked. Like nobody wanted to have anything to do with rap.
Yeah, I mean, hip-hop in Southern California in the 80s was hard to place. There was some violence associated with it, and many venues didn't want to book it. So that is code for called Golden Voice.
So the festival promoters had a history with doing hip-hop, but the festival setting itself and festival culture was, you know, was not as multicultural as it is today. I mean, what's the template for music festivals? Woodstock. There were not many people of color at that show. There were a handful. But if you see the movie, it's white girls with flower crowns and white guys with long hair. So when you think festival, that's what you think. And, you know, you could lose sight about how important that iconography is to people in determining what they do and how they celebrate music. So it took a while for culture to merge. And over time, it took like early acts to kind of break through. So if you look at the evolution of hip hop, early days, it was everybody that fit into that indie realm. And then mid-2000s, you had the flirtations with some of those bigger acts and ones that kind of offered a bit of crossover. The biggest one, of course, being Kanye.
I was at Coachella that year because I played with Kanye. The Kanye performance was kind of hilarious because he showed up at least 20 minutes late, 20 to 30 minutes late. So we were on stage, myself, the string section, and it's showtime, and we knew Kanye was on his way. I don't think he knew about the traffic between LA and Indio, specifically during a day of Coachella. And long story short, he showed up halfway into the set, and at a festival like Coachella, there's no wiggle room. It can't be like, okay, well, you can go over a half hour because someone else has a set right after. So he played a shortened set.
Throw your diamonds in the sky if you feel the vibe. The rock is still alive every time I rhyme. Forever, forever,
mean, Kanye was probably always Kanye, right? But when he first came out, he was considered in that more backpack realm.
After the breeze settles and the dust gets swept off, Big K pick up where Young Hov left off. Right when magazines wrote Kanye West off. I drop my new shit, it sound like the best of. A&R looking like we messed up. Grammy night, damn right, we got dressed up. Bottle after bottle till we got next up. Billy over Billy though, yeah, he next up.
It took artists like that were kind of like the testing grounds for hip hop at the festival. You couldn't have just jumped forward and put, I mean, Lil Wayne was big in the mid-2000s. Jay-Z was big in the mid-2000s. It was too early for that.
Right here said amen. Power to make a diamond with his bare hand. Baby, right, you're gonna stand to feel the vibe. Come on. Rock is still alive every time I ride and say this.
I look at every demographic like, man, hopefully I get the college kids. I want to get the girls, the little kids, the older people, the niggas from the streets, backpackers, all that, you know?
You gotta go? Yeah, man. You can't do one more? A-Track.
They can't do it.
You can't hit it?
Sorry, brother.
Well, it was a time when, we had these artists that were just blowing up pretty quick. MIA. She was great because she worked up the stages. And every stage was crazy every time.
The first time I ever played a festival was Coachella. That was my first festival ever.
From my recollection, the next big thing was probably Jay-Z.
Well, what happened is we were promoting a festival back in New York, and Beastie Boys were headlining it. And we'd already had Beasties at Coachella before, and it was just so good.
Don't you tell me to smile. You stick around, I'm making what you want. Numbers be on what you can die. They don't know your virtual pop.
Some could say that's the first hip-hop headliner, but to others, they were, rock, they were punk rock, they were all these different genres. But they certainly paved the way for future hip-hop headliners. So we had Beastie Boys on this festival in New York, but they had to cancel. So we got Jay-Z to fill in. And when he came out, he went straight into No Sleep to Brooklyn. And it was awesome.
I do what I do 'cause I'm winning and able.
I'm like, wow, Jay-Z, is that good live?
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is H to the OV. I used to move so flex on the OC.
So we grabbed him for Coachella.
CEO of the ROC. Fresh out the frying pan into the fire. Leader, music biz #1 supplier. Flyer in a piece of paper, paying my name. Got the hottest chick in the game, wearing my chain, that's right.
2010, Jay-Z. That was like a big breakout. Fans were totally ready for it. They were ready for it musically, they were ready for his presence.
So that's what I'ma do, take you back to the.
They were ready for the show to take on hip-hop at that scale.
Let me tell you dudes what I do to protect this. Shoot at you actors like movie directs, motherfucker.
I think it was only a matter of time because everybody just thinks that rap is cool. Rap is cool. There's nothing cooler than rap. Rap is the coolest music ever. Any kid that you catch walking down the street or driving down the street, whatever, they know Lil Wayne records, they know Jay-Z records, they know Kanye records.
Kanye came back in 2011 with an incredible theater of a performance, broke yet new ground.
First time I went to Coachella, Kanye had invited me the first time to Coachella, and I went. And I had a great night. When I seen his show, actually, at that time I told him that was the best hip hop show I've ever seen in my life. You know what I mean?
I'm living in that 21st century, doing something mean to it. Do it better than anybody you ever seen. Do it, scream from the haters, got a nice ring to it. I guess every superhero need his theme music. No one man to have all that power. The clock's ticking, I just count the hours.
Just the way he took that stage and took over that stage, it was hip hop as art. To do it in that festival setting was just one more step in that march towards just the unstoppable beast that would become like the headliners. That year he had Arcade Fire, which did the incredible ball drop. Awesome concept, beautifully executed. But there were a few bands that could even like bring that. The rock headliners of those years had a harder time keeping up.
That was the first year where we started live streaming on YouTube. That was the thing that got us across the world. It really was shocking. You know, now all these different countries are coming. There was so much demand that year. More than 100,000 people were shut out. Thought about all these people who didn't get to go to Coachella.
You know, he has a lot of ideas. And I remember when he said to me, what's the only thing better than Coachella? 2 Coachellas.
It was just such an unprecedented move. No one had a 2-weekend event like that. And people thought that that was just a selfish money grab, which I can understand. But it also made tons of sense because a lot of people that wanted to go to the show, they couldn't go to the show.
I always thought about doing 2 weekends, but we thought I'm gonna run out of headliners if it's 2 different sets of music. So it hit me like every single artist needs to repeat.
Wait a second, the same artist come back and play a second time a week later? That's just weird. I didn't even know how they were gonna pull that off.
Put your motherfucking dubs in the air. Put your motherfucking dubs in the air. What you say?
It was hard to explain the 2-weekend concept to Dre because he didn't really know a lot about Coachella to begin with. But he knew about Burning Man because him and Tupac bumped into it when they were filming that video. It was the funniest thing.
Hey, yo, Dre, I think you should welcome everybody to the motherfucking side that we ride on.
Now let me welcome everybody to the Wild Wild West. A state that's untouchable like Elliot Ness. The track hits your eardrum like a slug to your chest. The best swinging Jimmy in the city of sex.
We lay out what we want to do with him headlining Coachella. I'd like to do it, but I got this idea about like a 3D thing or a hologram, or I got this art thing.
I hope this ain't people's first show seeing a concert, because after this one, he probably gonna want to see it.
It's kind of unfair what Dre is doing to the whole Coachella lineup on Sunday. That's all I gotta say. What?
Turning up. What's the surprises? Any type of surprises?
Everybody and their mama gonna come out. That's all I gotta say.
People are gonna cry.
People gonna fucking boo-hoo.
A hologram came up and it was like, all right, are we supposed to like celebrate this or be sad? Or is this disrespectful? Or is this cool? Or like, it was complex. It's like, it was a really complicated thing that they did. I felt like it didn't get enough credit for being like so crazy.
Yeah! You know what the fuck this is? What up, Dre? I'm chillin'. What's up, Pop? What up, Snoop? What's up, my nigga? What the fuck is up, Coachella? Motherfucking finger.
Only Dre would take it to this level.
Machiavelli in this.
Every artist looks for one of those moments that people are never gonna forget, and he was able to pull it off. I was happy for him, and also happy for Tupac, being able to be on stage with those people.
Come with me, Hail Mary, take a run quick, see what do we have here now?
We're stepping out into territory that hasn't really been stepped into, so we just wanted to do it right. Obviously respectful of the family, but respectful of the fans too. There was a version of Tupac that looked even less like Tupac than that, and then you can see him kind of like progressively become more and more Tupac over time. We made this like key chart of all these different Tupac looks, so we like call this one eyebrow raise, and you see the way his eyebrows raise, and it doesn't seem like this matters that much, but when you make a model, it's totally inert. So then you have to like find these signature moments that represent who he was in his essence.
I didn't go first weekend, and it was the first year of 2 weekends. Thank you, Coachella. So I came the second weekend. I knew exactly what was going to occur, and yet there were more people there the second weekend. And then you had all the special guests come back again and do it again.
Come with me, Hail Mary, nigga, run quick, see what do we have here now? Do you want to ride or die? La da 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 da. Gangsta shit.
This morning, the most talked about concert on the planet was a weekend performance from someone who's been dead for 15 years.
Yeah, I don't know what the big deal is. My Hologram has been hosting this show since December.
The audience there at Coachella suddenly sees someone who is dead.
It's the technology that has some of us unable to believe our eyes.
It kind of bums me out that he's been dead for 16 years. He's still in much better shape than I am.
Tupac Shakur set Twitter ablaze.
This was done strictly for Coachella 2012, baby. Just for you.
There were big points before that, Daft Punk, Pixies, things like that were really monumental, but they were monumental for fans, insular fans. For mainstream people that started to know Coachella as synonymous with festival, it was definitely Tupac.
What is that? Tupac.
No matter what we think, it's not just a passing trend. We need to realize that the new generation of entertainment is here.
It was the single most popular thing that ever happened at Coachella.
That was the moment where people understood the power of that performance, that stage, watching it online, like all those things I culminated. The genie was never going back in the bottle. It just established a show as like part of popular culture.
In 2012, this deceased rapper performed via hologram. Carrie.
Who is Tupac?
Correct.
Coachella for 400.
On the bill at the inaugural festival in 1999, Rage Against the Machine, and this lead singer of the Smiths.
So this must have been like 2011 or something. Long before Tyler came to play the show, he shows up with the Odd Future crew. But they got super soakers with them. They just kind of roll on the field, start walking around. I happen to be in the area. I have my camera. You know, I know who they were. I didn't really know them. Start snapping some pictures. And, you know, this girl jumps up on Tyler and she starts making out with her.
No, Gene! Oh my God!
It's just some random girl that just like kind of jumps into his arms and kisses him. And then he takes his super soaker out and sprays her and everybody else. And later on, I heard that Tyler got kicked out of the show because I think they took the super soaker a little too far, soaked a security officer, and found themselves ejected from the show. By that evening, though, they were back in. You saw the kids that were going to be the headliners through them. Young and confident and you could say entitled, but colorful and fun and talented, irreverent at the same time. To see those artists now, it's the third kind of evolution. I mean, I remember it just stood out to me when I was watching Travis Scott, outdoor theater. It was watching the fans and how into it they were. I remember talking to the stage manager, and he said this is the biggest crowd he's seen at that stage, and he's been at that stage since Coachella 1. That's probably been the bitterest pill to swallow for some of the old fans, because the artists are so young, and they're coming with fashion, wealth, and with bravado, and this carefree aggression.
I want to see the fucking rage, Coachella. If you're not trying to mosh, if you're not trying to crowd surf, if you're not trying to lay it on the ground tonight, get the fuck out!
I started to get that understanding, that chatter, and feel it from both people that work the show and just kind of the kind of perception in the air. I was like, damn, this is like the GV shows of the early 80s.
My left stroke just went viral. Right stroke put the baby in the spiral. Soprano C, we like to keep it on the high note. It's levels to it, you and I know. Bitch, be humble.
The misconception, the dismissal, the derision.
Bitch, sit down.
All those things that are put at these performers is very similar to punk.
Hip hop has similar roots, but because it's black rooted, you got a little bit more of that shit that goes with it, you know, when it's really angry.
I'm so fucking sick and tired of the Photoshop. Show me something natural, like Afro picture plot. Show me something natural, like ass with some straps.
In a way, when it comes to punk rock, there's like the form of punk rock and the function of punk rock. And of course, the form is easy to identify. It's like shaved heads, loud guitars, white guys yelling really loud.
Here it is, here I am, turn it up, fucking loud. When I got the music, I got a place to go.
And the function of punk rock is more an independent questioning. Clearly, Paul Tillett and the people at Golden Voice come from punk rock because the way they've always approached scheduling acts at Coachella, it's very eclectic, very open-minded, but there's also this third part of punk rock, which is a little provocation. And it's one of the things I love about the choice of bands and artists at Coachella. Sometimes you feel challenged by it.
It's just fascinating to see things how things change.
things move so fast nowadays. What happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe isn't today anymore. So what do? Do you stay with your original 99 type of music you were doing? Or do you say it's 2018, let's go 2018 with a nod to the past? And so you kind of just go with both of it. We had all these combinations in year one. There was hip hop, there was indie, there was DJs. But in the beginning, we wouldn't have ever thought of booking a pop act. But as the years go by, all the dance music getting so big, and then hip hop, and then pop, not being a bad word among the indie rock people anymore. Just started feeling like this is something that Coachella really needs.
She's a woman on a mission. She came there with a script. The performance was a State of the Union for her, and she was going to deliver it. Beyonce could have played Madison Square Garden, Staples Center, or any massive celebrated venue. That performance would not have been as important as Coachella.
Thank you for allowing me to be the first Black woman to headline Coachella.
You know, that was the beacon.
I don't think anybody could have expected what we saw, but the moment she stepped out, you're just like, oh my God.
Crazy right now.
I look and stare so deep in your eyes. I touch on you more and more every time. When you leave, I'm begging you not to go. Call your name 2-3 times in a row. Such a funny thing for me to try to explain. How I'm feeling and my pride is the one to blame. Yeah, I still don't understand just how you left to do it. No one else can.
She had some big ideas, and she pulled them all off. Just their minds were blown, just on so many levels. I feel fortunate that we were able to deliver everything she needed to get that story and that show told.
Drop it.
She was expressing artistry within the Black community, but the timing of that was really phenomenal. She got pregnant, she couldn't play 2017. The conversation shifted over that year. The election of Donald Trump, Me Too, and got even heavier.
When I talk to my friends so quietly, look at what you did to me. Tennis shoes don't even need to buy a new dress. You ain't there, ain't nobody else.
It's just a rare artist that can bring that to the widest swath of people on the biggest stage with the biggest production. She's just one of those talents.
Just how you left to do no one else can.
The internet buzzing about the one and only Beyonce. Even this morning, Baychella is still top trending.
The first time that African-American woman headlined Coachella.
She did more for recruitment of HBCUs in that performance, historically Black colleges, than anybody could have done.
That shit last night, spectacular. Brilliant.
She performed for nearly 2 hours and did 5 costume changes. And Jay-Z made an appearance, and Solange was there, and so was Destiny's Child. Beyonce is the greatest performer of all time, living or dead.
People are now saying that Beyonce is a greater performer than Michael Jackson.
Oh!
That opened the door so wide. I mean, she is now the biggest performance Coachella's ever had. A Black woman. That script could not have been conceived 15 years ago.
Beyonce's headlining performance really opened up the doors for a lot of people who maybe didn't think they would have a shot previously. You know what I mean? Now it feels like there's space for everyone.
We didn't expect anybody to even, know our music or anything, but we came in and everybody's like screaming, Blackpink in your area. That's just blowing our minds. Yeah.
Love what you guys are doing. Love it so much. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Thank you so much. Congrats on being like the biggest female K-pop debut. Oh my God, and it's like the beginning. I'm excited. Yeah, well, I can't wait to hear the doo-doo-doo-doo.
Hit you with that
What's really exciting is different people are feeling they're represented at Coachella in a big way now.
Siempre quise venir y no lo logré como fanático, pero sí como artista, so, es igual de grande. Y hacerlo en mi propio estilo, hablando mi idioma, la jerga que se utiliza en mi casa, en mi país, en mi barrio, yo creo que es de las cosas más grandes.
More and more, we're going to continue to see diversity.
Coachella, I want to practice my English with you, okay?
It really just is an incredible thing, and I can't even imagine 5 years from now what the lineup and the crowds are going to look like at Coachella.
It's always been a festival for discovery anyway, so we're just reaching sort of a global cusp. I mean, every year it's like it's a metamorphosis.
The artists are evolving, the show and the community is evolving. The fact that it represents a more fuller picture of culture, like that's the bottom line. That's what I'm most happy about when I see the lineup this year and recent years. I think the sense of discovery on the music side is really where we are as a culture and how we ingest music.
And I'll
Beyond that, I think there's still a romance with like gathering at some field and having this sort of cultural connection. Hope for something amazing to happen. Could be romantic, could be just hanging with your friends and just having kind of like that time, that great time. Festivals hold the promise of that. And so Coachella, for many people, I think is just like that beacon. It's part of their year where they know that all that is possible.
I'm grateful for Coachella and everything that it's done for the festival culture in America. I'm sure eventually some things would have taken off, but not as rapidly as it did and not the way it did, not without Coachella.
Happy Coachella! Happy Coachella! Happy Coachella!
I remember it seemed to get so big so fast. Every year that it's grown, I can't believe that we've had room to grow. I feel so lucky that I got to be involved in the project since it started, and to still be involved. It's just striking when you compare 99 to 2019. Kids, but I imagine that's what it's like for a parent watching their kid grow and grow and grow and getting so big, and you can't believe how big they've grown. Coachella, the festival, is like a person. It's like family, and it's off to college now.
Weezer started, there was nothing like this. You always looked forward to going abroad to play the big festivals. That's where the legendary shows were. And now the biggest one is right here in Southern California.
I come because I genuinely love music. I've done Coachella since 2007, so it's like 13 years. I've only skipped Weekend 2 times. Like, I can't not tutu at this point. I've seen more music in a few weekends here than I've seen in my entire life in other places. And I see acts here that I will never see at the other festivals all over.
So Kanye had been confirmed for 3 or 4 months prior. And on January 1st, we were having a production called Jason and I about Kanye's stage plans for the show. And he let us know that the stage we had didn't match up with what was in his head. We went back and forth a little bit, and we realized we're not going to be able to pull this off.
And then about a month before the show, I get a call from Paul, and he says, Kanye's back on.
'Cause you're the only power that can save this world today. You're the only.
Paul was out at his house in Indio, and he went out to a hill and camping and took a video to show Kanye's team a possible performance area.
You're the only power.
We get the first rendering from their team, and that's the game plan. It's moving along quite nicely. And then probably 2 weeks prior to the actual show, we get a second drawing sent over to us, and there's a second mountain on it. Their vision had changed. They wanted us collectively to build another mountain. The mountain that we were building is out in the middle of where all the campers are for weekend 1, so we have to wait for the show to be done and the campers to leave on Monday. And then come Tuesday, in comes 500 trucks of dirt. And then Friday, 3 semi-trucks of grass. Compact it, water it, and get ready to go.
I could be so happy. I never knew. When the choir and everyone started singing, the whole crowd just was in shock of like what they were experiencing, and then it continued with the dancers sprinkled throughout. There is so many different elements of look over there, oh my gosh, who's that? Who's that? Who's that? Kanye was not front and center. His team was very particular about wanting to make sure that it was not about him. It was about the choir. It was about the music. It was about the songs and the experience of what Sunday service was. Which is literally my childhood. Every Sunday, going to church and singing spiritual hymns.
I never knew. I never knew. I could be so
anyone understood the full magnitude of what was going to take place, but to have it on that scale, it was just a very, very magical and powerful experience.
Last year, I was in Indio, and I get a call from a friend that says, you have to go watch Black Panther right now. So I told him, you know, I'll catch it someday. He says, no, you have to go right now. So I go to a local theater and I watch it, thinking all the way through the movie, why did he tell me to see it? Then right at the end of the movie, they mentioned Coachella.
When you said you would take me to California for the first time, I thought you meant Coachella or Disneyland.
They mentioned Coachella in the same sentence as Disneyland. And I'm like, wow, that's heavy. Now I just don't want to make a mistake for the people that like the show. And that changes. Who likes the show changes. In the beginning, I thought people would go forever. I didn't realize there would be a whole new set of people who went and loved the show. I didn't realize there'd be new styles of music, new sounds. So the show has to keep up.
When I started doing concerts, it was a gathering of people enjoying music and having a good time. And that's what they carried on. That's what Coachella's about.
Renee started going to the Glass House when he was 14 and started promoting shows here. And I just have always liked the music that he likes. So when I thought I needed a new tent with a new outlook, he was the obvious choice.
I was in econ class in school, and I get a text, and Paul's like, can you come to the office? I was like, I'm in class, dude. Like, I can't go to the office right now. And he waited for me. I got there, and he pitched the idea of starting a new stage at Coachella to have a space for not just like the bigger established musician, but also for like the up-and-coming artists. Sonora represents who I am and how I grew up, but in a way also how Gary and Paul T, how they were brought up, and how the company sprouted. Thank you. No, you're an entrepreneur. No, I feel like that's the beauty of it. Like back to the roots.
We're on in 2 minutes.
2 minutes. All right. Yeah. Later. Right, ready? Oh, it's like a kazoo. And it's Coachella, baby.
Prince was always on the list, but seemed impossible. He'd never played any of these things. I met with him, talked everything out. He had me come back to the house, bring my artist to make the poster. We talked money, talked everything. I said to him, are we done? You know, are we confirmed? And he said, no, I'm not playing Coachella. Why would I play Coachella?
When they asked me to come work this place, I said I can't come work no place.
I was sad, thought I had it. And 3 weeks before the show, he calls out of the blue. He says, do I have to split the money if I put the Coachella logo and the Prince symbol together? Like I said, are you playing Coachella? And he says, yeah, Saturday night. Like we'd been on sale. Like we're 3 weeks before the show. And I'm like, oh, okay.
come to party. Is that alright with y'all? In the spirit of that, you in the coolest place on earth right now. If you don't like the world you're living in, take a look around you. At least you got friends. Come on, lady, no friendly word. Picked up the phone, dropped it on the floor.